What's going on, you guys? Fost here, and I am back with another video. In today's video, I'll be doing an in-depth Rammus Jungle guide. Rammus is up next out of the poll that I did. You can see the poll right now. Now, if you guys want to vote for the next poll yourself in the future, make sure to do so by hitting the notification bell and keeping an eye out for the community tab. Every poll that goes up will last for 24 hours. Whoever has the most votes after 24 hours will win, and then will be the next guide. So yeah, with all that being said, let's go into Rammus's runes. Now, the main rune for Rammus that you want to go for is Aftershock. This is very, very key. It is a very low cooldown, only 20 seconds, but it does give you a very significant amount of extra armor and magic resist. And this directly impacts Rammus's damage increase and also tankability, so this is by far the best one you want to go for. Now, moving on from the Aftershock here, you literally just have the option of going Demolish. Shield Bash doesn't do anything for you. Font of Life doesn't necessarily do anything for you. You only impair the movement of one enemy, really. So, yeah. Demolish, however, does help extra with getting successful ganks off and then pressuring down turrets, getting a plate here or there, or just helping you end games faster if you get to that stage of the game where you just want to kill turrets as quickly as possible. So this is definitely the best rune here, and yeah. Now here, Conditioning is again the best option. The reason this is the best option is because it increases your armor and magic resist by 5%, which is gonna mean a lot when Rammus is in his W form and then also stacking up with Aftershock at the same time. So this is just making you as tanky as possible, getting crazy numbers like 700 armor, 600 magic resist or higher, stuff like that. So this synergizes well with Aftershock for that reason, and then also Rammus's W. And now for the last one, you want to get Unflinching. Unflinching is the choice here to basically allow you to run into the enemy team without getting CC'd as much. If you're going or getting close to somebody and then smiting, you gain the tenacity from this. You can also, use your ghost to go in, and then this will just help a lot with additional tenacity to prevent you from getting CC'd down, and will allow you to walk up and forward to get an engage off. So this is a very straightforward, no difference type of options. They're all best for every single row you can go for right here. Now for the secondary tree, we have the sorcery tree, which is your best bet. You want to get celerity for sure, since this scales really well with your Q movement speed and also your ghost on top of that. All movement speed bonuses are 7% more effective and you gain 1% movement speed. But that 7% movement speed effectiveness on everything is just very good. It helps with your Q, helps with ghost, and will just allow you to get a massive amount of movement speed. And then to combine with that, you want to get Nimbus Cloak as well. For, well, same reasons. You can just smite somebody or use Ghost and get a Nimbus Cloak boost, and that will just allow you to get more move speed, catch people easier, or just get ganks off a lot easier. So this combination here just allows you to get as much mobility as possible to get ganks off and catch people out of position. Now moving on from this, you want to get the attack speed one for additional jungle clear speed, mainly early on, because after you complete your jungle item and you have a couple of points into your queue, you're basically one-shotting all of the camps anyway. But yeah, this helps you with auto attacks early on. And then following that, you just want to get double armor. You really just want to get double armor because Rammus gets increased damage from armor, and also just his kit scales really well with armor, allowing you to be tankier in the process as well. And that's just why you want to get armor. There's no reason to get damage, because with armor you get damage anyway. So that's just a very straightforward option for Rammus. This is the rune page you want to use every single game, and there is no variation to this really. So if you do have questions on this, make sure to put those in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. And let's move right into the item build now. Alright, so for the item build on Rammus, we have the Hunter Talisman start with a refillable potion. It's a very basic start. This is to help you clear the AoE camps as best as you can, really. Also sustaining health throughout the camps and just overall dealing more damage to everything. This synergizes well with Q and just gives you the most clear speed you can have. So that's one you want to go for first. Now, from following that up, you want to get the Blue Smite enchant. The reason you want this is because this makes catching people even easier. You will have a kit that is based around movement speed, so you're going Ghost, you're going for the Q increase in the movement speed, you have Celerity and Nimbus Cloak, and then to stack the blue smite on top of this will mean anything is a very easy catch, and you're just gonna, this basically promotes your gank ability and then also your pick ability or just catch potential later in the game. So this is definitely something you want. You do not need red smite at all because Rammus is just extremely difficult to kill, and damage reduction a little bit doesn't matter, and you already have a good amount of like damage return from people just hitting you, so you are fine in that front. Now the jungle item you want is always going to be Cinderhulk, making you as tanky as possible, also giving you the like Cinderhulk effect, the immolate effect to basically increase your jungle clear speed as much as possible whilst making you as tanky as possible for team fights. This item gives you a lot of extra health, which synergizes really well with just having the extra armor and magic resist from your W, and then also the like tankiness from Aftershock and everything. So really Cinderhulk is the one you want, and no differences there. Now from this point onwards, the item you want to build every single time, actually no, that's boots, I'm forgetting boots. Right now you want to finish your boots after your jungle item, so you want to get either ninjas or mercs. Another boots option you can go for the early game is boots of mobility. So if you are having a fairly good early game and getting a little bit ahead, getting a little bit on the snowballing side, you want to pick up mobility boots for the early stages. You will sell them later to pick up either ninjas or mercs to just be more tanky, but this can definitely help a lot in just completely snowballing a game. So if you can get a couple ganks early and have some money for mobility boots, it is an option you can go for. You don't have to do it. You can still opt to go for ninjas and mercs, but in snowballing situations, if you are ahead, if you are doing well, then the additional mobility from this across the entire map will just, like, yeah, it will snowball you like crazy. You always want to sell these no matter what when it comes to the later stages, because you just want to be more tanky or just have more tenacity in general. So yeah, that's for the boots. Now for the initial armor item is the one you always want to get, and that's Thornmail. The reason you want to get this is because it gives one, a lot of armor, but then also it deals damage equal to, or like reflects damage equal to your bonus armor. And since Rammus gets a lot of bonus armor, this will actually do quite a significant amount of damage as well. You can run into people, taunt them, they're gonna, like if you run into an ADC with this, they're basically gonna suicide onto you, and you will be able to just use Thornmail for that effect very, very nicely. This is just the item that synergizes really well with Rammus, and it's just an item you want to get. You always want to get Thornmail no matter what, really. Now you might want to skip Thornmail early on if they are more magic resist heavy. You can opt to just get a Bramble Vest, which will still do the same thing, giving you reflect damage based on your bonus armor. It's just not going to be as good as the Thornmail one, but it is still a very viable choice. So if the enemy team like is more magic damage heavy, you still want to pick up that Bramble Vest for the effect, and then also the Grievous Wounds can help, but mainly for the armor, bonus armor effect, you want to get that. So that's the main thing you want to go for. At this point, there is a lot of variable options that will just be good depending on game situations. Items that can be good are random ones for crit champions on the enemy team. If they have a bunch of crit based champions, then random ones can reduce that damage greatly. Also, if you go in with this and use the slowing effect, it can allow your team to catch up as well. You can go for the Righteous Glory to make picking people off a lot easier. So if the enemy team would be very, very slippery, you can use this on top of Ghost and everything you already have to catch people out even easier. And yeah. Another item that's great for the same purpose would be Deadman's Blade, and this is the one I would prefer to get more so over Righteous Glory in pretty much all my games. So yeah, like if you're going for an option here, it is generally better to go for Deadman's Blade. There are some exceptions because Righteous Glory does allow your team to catch up with you as well. So if you make an engage, then Righteous Glory will also give the slowing effect, which will allow your team to catch up. So if your team is like has difficulty catching up, or maybe anything like that, really, if you are the sole purpose of the engage, then Righteous Glory would be better to activate this, go in, get the slowing effect on the enemy team, so your team has the time to walk up to deal damage. So that would be the only situation where I would get Righteous over Deadman's if I'm going for an item like this. Now, great, like that's really for the armor items. Great magic resist items include, well, you can also get Locket and stuff, by the way, if you just want to use that to be more tanky, or like just to have an extra shield. However, just, yeah. Magic resist items include going for the Adaptive Helm. You can also go for Spirit Visage, and Abyssal Mask is a very good option as well. Rammus return damage is a lot of magic damage, so this will mean that this will just increase your damage at the same time. It's making you just more tanky with magic resist in general. Also, this is 15% of damage taken from champion is gained as mana, which will basically allow you to sustain your mana very easily on top of everything. And yeah, this is also very good if your team is a bit more magic damage heavy. So let's say you would have like an AP top laner, AP mid laner, and then you're playing Rammus, or an AP mid laner and an AP champion in the AD carry slot, or maybe a Kai'Sa AD carry or whatever. Then getting an Abyssal Mask is very beneficial to those people as well, since they do a significant amount of magic damage. And the enemies take 15% more magic damage from the aura effect, so any type of engage will increase your team damage on top of everything. Another item that can be useful is the Stone Plate, which if you are like the soul tank, this can skyrocket your armor and just your tank ability up through the roof. You can get like 900 plus armor, 800 plus magic resist, and then also have like 6k health on top of everything if this is like your last item in the slot and you run into the enemy team with that. This is just gonna give you a very crazy amount of tank stats, and this is something you can pick up as a 6th item. If you are unsure whether you need magic resist or armor at that point, you can just get this to hybrid it out. And yeah, so that's basically it for the options on Rammus. If you have any questions, make sure to put those in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. And if you've enjoyed this video so far, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button, as this does help me out with the YouTube algorithm as well. And let's move right on into the gameplay section now. Alright, welcome to the gameplay section of this guide. As you can see, we're following Rammus today against a Karthus. Now this Rammus player is a challenger Rammus player over 1000 LP. He's a Rammus 1 trick. He plays 2 accounts. One is Grandmaster, one is Challenger, playing just Rammus Jungle basically. So yeah. Now Rammus into Karthus is actually not that bad of a matchup for Rammus, because you have more gank pressure than Karthus does, but your clear speed also kind of equals Karthus. Karthus is a little bit faster, but in general Rammus does have a pretty damn good clear speed, especially if you use your Q properly throughout your jungle, which you'll see shortly as well. Now to start off a game on any jungler really, you want to make sure that you use your ward somewhere. He places it here in the river. The moment you place a ward really, you want to make sure that you back at maximum 52 seconds ish to get a red trinket, because that red trinket will help you to prevent invades, or to invade and make sure that you are able to gank really. Now this ward here, I'd say doesn't really do too much. If you are starting this side of the map, the only thing this really prevents you is from getting late invaded, which from a Karthus would be fairly surprising, I'd say, so I don't think that would be very helpful. Generally, you want to place the ward on the buff camp that you are not starting on, because that will dictate your jungle clear. If he's starting red buff, then just placing a ward here, just running here, placing a ward on blue, recalling at 50 to 52 seconds, and then going to your red buff and get a leash and start clear there would be more helpful, because then you would know if Karthus or any other jungler really would invade your blue, and you would be able to transition into a split map type of deal. If you don't have any vision, then you could lose potentially your bot side blue Gromp or something before you even know it. So that's the difference between wards that I would change, but wherever you place your ward, as long as you back for your sweeping trinket before the 52 second mark, you should be good, because that's just a very important thing to do for ganks and just general invade purposes. So he spots Karthus and then starts backing again before that 52 second mark. He gets his red trinket here and I believe starts red buff, yes. So Rammus is maxing order, by the way. Rammus wants to start with W for his initial just camp clear, then you take Q again for just camp clear and also roam ability through your jungle, then E on level 3, and then you want to max Q first, then E second and W last. Q first is basically for the movement speed increase that it gives, which gives you increased roaming speed, also increased jungle clear speed, and just better gank potential in general, and then E for that taunt. So really that's the maxing order for Rammus. Of course, take ult whenever possible. Now also something you might notice about this Rammus is that he plays with Ghost. I would highly advise playing Rammus with Ghost right now. You could also go for like a Nimbus Cloak Ignite setup potentially, but Ghost with all the buffs and changes it's got recently is actually very, very good on Rammus, because this allows very easy ganks if you combine Ghost with your Q speed up. which you will see later on as well. And also with the reset function of this, you gain so much time on Ghost that you will be able to be very like hard to deal with in team fights as well. Taunting multiple people, making engages with Q, and then following that through with Ghost extension. So really, like, you'll see... Wait, did I just see that Corsair is gonna invade? This might look like a play where that ward that I just mentioned earlier is actually gonna play effect. Yeah, here. Yeah, okay. He would have known if he would have warded this instead of this that he was gonna steal blue away from the Rammus, but yeah, either or doesn't necessarily matter too much. Even if you lose a blue camp, it's fine. So here, starting off, like initially Rammus' jungle clear isn't that great. It really comes with picking up like a Bami Cinder and a couple of levels. But for Rammus, generally just going for a full clear is what you want to look for. You can also, if you do a 3-camp clear on this side of the map, for example, you can also transition through mid lane. So you just walk up here, then in this brush you start charging your Q for a little bit. The reason you want to charge your Q would be because it gains movement speed over 6 seconds, which means if you start it, it's going to give you a little bit of movement speed, but it will go up the longer the duration is. So if you just stand still with Q for a little bit here, it charges up in move speed, and then you can come out of the brush faster. You can also combine this with Ghost to come out even faster, but that's just optional, really. This is usually something you could do against very immobile mid laners like Syndra. This is a possibility that you could go for. Wait, did this Karthus just actually go from blue to blue? Wow, I only just realized this, like, clicking on it, but yeah, okay. Makes sense, I guess. Let me just go back then. Right, either way, for Rammus, just clearing your jungle, one of the best camps to clear for Rammus is just this camp right here, because it dies really, really quickly, as you may have noticed earlier. From this point onwards, basically every time you go from camp to camp, you want to use your Q if it's up, which will be up more often the more levels you put into it. Currently it's a very long cooldown, but this will go down quite fast. And then just press W, you can press E as well, and then gain an attack speed increase, really, so yeah. Now this is an example here. You see the bot lane being pushed up, which is a very good gank opportunity, especially if you do have Ghost. Once you hit level 3, you can make options like this happen. You could have also done this from this brush in mid lane if you wanted to, but right now, as you see, the Kai'Sa, and the Lulu are extended. It doesn't even matter that if this is warded or not because of Ghost, because he now charges in, or charges his Q up, Q duration, you pop Ghost, and he runs at them with 800 movement speed. Compare that to the 335 from Kai'Sa and the 330 from Lulu. There is no way they're getting away from you. So you just have to make contact, and then you press the taunt, and you will be able to get somebody. You also have red buff for additional slows. The Kai'Sa there flashes out and, well, basically get the catch on Lulu. This is a really good example of why Ghost is so good, and why you should be playing Rammus with Ghost. Also there, the Ghost extended the duration, which means he gets a little bit more move speed going through, or going to his, like, the Scuttle Crab, or back into his jungle, or whatever. Right. That was a Bard roam to the Syndra. Let's see. LeBlanc Macy engage. Bard actually kind of lags behind on this play, which is a little unfortunate, I suppose. If he walked up with Rammus, they probably would have killed the Syndra here. Or does she still die? Actually, that should still be a death, right? Yep. Alright, that was not too bad. Rammus didn't get an assist on this one, but at least he was there to follow. If your support roams for something, as a jungler, always try to follow, because that's very beneficial. It will, like, increase the likelihood of getting a kill by quite a bit. Now here, he wants to proc his Demolish on the turret. I think the Karthus does catch him off with a slow. And yeah, oh, this, okay, I see. I was wondering why he ran down, but the Syndra teleported here somewhere. So Rammus had no way of going this way, which means that, well, I'm pretty sure he's just gonna go for the execute at that point, right? Yeah, it just goes for the execute. I mean, that's a good option at that point. He got cut off by the Syndra TP there, and he just opted to go downwards to get an execute, which is fine. Does get counter jungled a little bit by Karthus there, and Karthus also ganked top lane. But that should be fine. Alright, as you can see, Rammus' clear speed after picking up the Bami Cinder exponentially increases. He basically just ran into this camp and one-shot it. It was a very quick clear, And yeah. One thing that wasn't that helpful for him here in this situation was using his Q on the camp. Because the camp would have died to the burn damage from Bami Cinder anyway. And having the Q to run all the way through this section would have sped up his jungle clear a little bit. That's something you want to make sure that you notice and look at every time you are just clearing your jungle camps. Always try to use your Q to most efficiently move through your jungle. You obviously want to use it on camps as much as possible, so try to use it from a distance to where you can still hit the camp you are going for, because it does a good amount of damage, especially since you're maxing it first. But the mobility through the jungle is fairly important there as well. Right. Going for the Gromp, and then also just Ghost is almost back up. I don't know how long the cooldown exactly is. There's a big wave here. The Jhin just died, so as a jungler, you don't have anything up. Top Scuttle is up here. The only other thing he could do is Dragon, but that's very risky since the bot lane is completely pushed in. So ideally, you want to just take the wave. Make sure you soak the experience off this, and yeah, so that's basically what he's doing right here. Just soaking the experience, making sure that the enemy doesn't get a free plate, and that he is able to, well, get something out of it still. As you see there, every time, charging his Q every time to move between camps, to move 2 camps as well, because that's just gonna save him a lot of time. I think the Karthus may have gotten spotted on top lane here. Did he? There's a bunch of pings that just went down. Did we see Karthus top lane? Did I miss it? I don't see the Karthus on top lane, but their bot lane backed as well. The mid laner just died. This like right here, the Syndra died, so this dragon should be free whether Karthus is there or not. But if you see the enemy jungler top lane and you are around the dragon or around the objective that you want to go for, then you should try to go for that objective just straight away, making sure that you can get it before the and like to punish the enemy jungler for being on the other side of the map basically. Right, as you can see, right at this point, the clear speed just becomes very, very good. And then also, whilst using his Q between camps, we'll make sure that he gets an even better clear speed, basically, to just roam through his jungle very quickly. Now here the Karthus was pressured away, which means, like, right as you can see, the Karthus was pressured away. His topside camps were most likely down as well. And that just means that he can pick up the Rift Herald in this situation. The Sylas had top pressure. The LeBlanc has currently BRIO on the Syndra. She is in a position between the Syndra and the Rift Herald. So doing the Rift Herald here is actually a very good option. And that's something you always, like, the objective control helps a lot. And is something you definitely want to play for. If you have the opportunity to go for stuff like Rift Herald, Dragons, all that type of stuff, you definitely want to do it. Now this Rift Herald can be used to potentially dive top lane right here. So after this Rift Herald, he could dive top lane and then use the Rift Herald there to get a lot of plates, or to maybe just even push the entire turret down completely. So let's see what he's gonna go for. Alright. As I just mentioned, he is gonna go for the top lane dive. He pops his Ghost as well as his Q. As you can see, he runs in with a whopping 900 movement speed. And there is, like, even though this guy is 460 by using his Q on something, there is no way you're outrunning this, so he was always gonna make contact, and that will just already do a lot of damage. As you can see, the Bami Cinder procs, the Q hits, and the Aftershock gets procced as well, doing a lot of damage to the Malphite, whilst also being able to tank him. Now right here, they should just be able to use Aftershock on the turret, and then also right there spawn the Rift Herald to get the first turret down pretty much immediately. 10 minutes into the game, they get the first turret for that play. If you have a Rift Herald on any champion, really, if you have the opportunity to dive top lane with it like this, like you just saw, it is always a good play. Another good play would be if you would have like a Ziggs mid or something, and or the mid plates are just low. If you can execute a turret with the Rift Herald initially to get the plates and also get the first turret with it, try to play for it. Even if you have to dive, which on Rammus specifically isn't very difficult because he is extremely tanky. So he can just go in, take turret aggro and survive for quite a bit. Alright, so back to jungle clearing. As you can see, it's again using that Q between jungle camps, moving between jungle camps as fast as possible. Here again, All of this additional movement speed saves you so much in jungle clear speed and will increase your map pressure overall. So that's very important to remember. Keep using your Qs between camps. Now it gets a reset off, has 1800 gold, which is a very good back. A lot of that gold came from the first turret on top lane as well, so yeah. Now the moment you complete your jungle item, your jungle clear speed just gonna skyrocket. You will run into a camp with Q and it will basically die instantly. So this is how Rammus can keep up or even out farm a lot of junglers. He can keep up with Karthus. He's a little bit behind, but that's to be expected from a Karthus on the enemy team, since this champion is quite unfair when it comes to that clear speed. So yeah. Seeing something going on bot lane and running there as soon as he can. Right, Kaisa gets caught out. All of this extra movement speed from the roam speed he has with his Q really helps him from basically just running from top side of the map to the bot side whilst the fight was going to go on. He goes for the engage with the Q, and well, they pick up the kills here really. Now off of this they can pick up a dragon as well, which is just very good in general. And yeah. Now back to clearing the jungle. As you can see, does it really fast, and this is just one of those things that you need. If you can keep this clear speed going from now on, on Rammus, you're gonna skill very well into the later stages of the game because you're gonna have a lot of items, which makes you incredibly tanky and will allow you to engage all of the fights for your team, so as much damage as possible for your team. Experience is very important. If you can get an experience advantage or a level lead on a tank champion, you are going to be extremely difficult to kill. Even if you're building full tank and if you fall behind in experience or in levels, you're going to be a lot easier to kill than if you are actually keeping up or being ahead in experience. And this guy is definitely keeping up with the Karthus by just rotating through his camps, using his Q between camps, and then also, of course, looking for some pressure. Now here, one of those classic moments, you pop your Q, you instantly pop Ghost with it, and you can just run into any situation with a lot of movement speed. Now this is gonna ramp up, as you can see. He gets the Q into the Kaisa, and that basically just guarantees Kaisa's death. Now he gets the extend on Ghost, which could have been a play that he maybe wanted to continue here. He had the option to potentially go for the Lulu as well, maybe get another taunt if it was up. So the extension on Ghost could have helped him here to potentially kill Lulu as well. However, the Jhin was quite low and there was not a whole lot of follow-up. So if the Karthus would have been around, that could have resulted in his death. That's why he didn't really go for that. Now, Sylas is trying to flank, and I think the Rammus is just going to go with that now because Sylas is here. He dodges Syndra E right there. That's just a that's why he detoured really, because if he gets stunned here, that could have been the only thing that may have survived, may have allowed Syndra to survive. So walked up there, dodged the stun, instead of straight up running into a Syndra. Now with that Sylas, they get a very nice dive off, and they also kill the Lulu with this, which is very good. Checking the enemy's jungle. This is very important, a very important thing to do. He initially maybe wanted to go for the bot side. LeBlanc went there, so he skipped that. And then he just decided that, well, Karthus is being seen on mid lane. So if any of these camps or any of the enemy's junglers' camps are up, you can take these and punish him for not being there. The more camps you can steal from the enemy jungler, the more ahead you are gonna be yourself. So this is very key. And with Rammus Q, you do have a lot of movement speed to just run by camps and quickly check if they're up or not. And then he spots the red buff being up, and then also the raptors here being up. Now Karthus spots Rammus now, but he already lost 2 camps just based off Rammus quickly checking Karthus's camps. So right here he sees the Syndra on mid lane, and this is just one of the good things about Rammus. You can use your Q quite early, and if you have it maxed, you can just run from quite a big distance, especially if you do have Ghost, and just get somebody that's just slightly forward, slightly out of position. This Syndra is slightly too far forward right now, and with Rammus's move speed and also the blue smite effect here, he's just really gonna catch up to the Syndra. Bard does flash for it in this case. Actually, well, he does die for this. That's the Malphite showing up with his ultimate that kind of killed him there. But that was quite a good catch still. He barely didn't have the range to CC the Syndra down because she just CC'd him away. But even then, That's really how you want to go for, look for picks or look for ganks in general. Just a slight extension could already be enough to get a kill. Now again, making sure that he does clear some of his camps whilst they're up. Yeah. Sees the Karthus walking a little bit far forward. And this is again the same thing that you just saw on the Syndra. And this is something you need to look for at this stage in the game as well. Just people that are slightly extended. You can see the Karthus right here in mid lane. And the turret is down right now. Which means that with his movement speed, with his Q, and if he would have a Ghost up, then Ghost as well, he can run at Karthus. And there's not a whole lot he'll be able to do. He's just going to have to like run away as best as he can. Which you'll see right now. Rammus comes in, stacking up a lot of move speed. Does get slowed a little bit by Karthus wall. He also blue smites Karthus. Karthus flashes away. But this really, just that one play, catches the Karthus out and forces him to flash. Now Jin lands a very nice W, and which allows Rammus to walk up and still taunt. However, Lulu was there to save the Karthus with the Mikaels there, and he was forced to walk away. And again, Powerball, use that to catch the Syndra right there. And then they can look for a dragon play right now. Or should be able to look for a dragon play right now. The Silas just came out of base with, like, he's basically full HP. And he's quite strong as well, so they just need the Silas here. They can make an engage happen. Rammus also has his Ghost up as well, so he could potentially, like, loop around here. And then with Ghost Q run into maybe the Lulu or the Kai'Sa. That could also be a good play as well. Just seeing what he's going for right here. He goes for the Q around. They lose vision. They back away from the dragon. So Rammus just, instead of instantly running in, Rammus waits for a position, waits for a catch that he can go for. Now this is one of those things. If you are charging your Q, make sure that you like stand still if it's early on and you want to come out of a brush with a lot more movement speed. That's why he's standing still right now and just letting his Q charge, which amplifies his movement speed. It's going up, as you can see, quite quickly right there. And then the moment it hits at a high move speed, he comes out of the brush. Now Malphite kind of already walked into him, but this allows him to get a catch a little bit quicker, and people are not going to expect you as much when coming out of the brush with more move speed like that. That same concept applies if you were ganking like bot lane, for example. So let's say he's standing right here and here's the enemy, or maybe here's the enemy or whatever. You can charge his Q here and then with a lot more movement speed instantly run out of the brush to hit the, or connect the Q a lot better and faster in general. And then, yeah, that's just a trick that you want to make sure you use. Rammus being fairly tanky and soaking quite a good amount of damage, but you'd never want to overdo it because you are still low HP at this point, and chasing, even though you are a tank, never just like run your life down is something to remember as well. With Rammus you can also multi-camp like this, as you can see. Yeah, you just press W, and with taunt and everything you can just like let it die to reflect damage as well as burn damage from your Cinderhawk. His entire jungle is up, so he's making sure to get his camps, and then maybe he's going for a certain amount of gold as well, but making sure that you keep clearing his camps as well. Alright, Baron is up. The enemy team has 3 deaths right now, so they can definitely look for a Baron at this stage in the game if they want to. See where they're going. I think Rammus is now just checking Karthus' camps. Yep. Seeing if he can take anything away from the Karthus after that team basically just died. And then he will look for some stuff to punish. It's just a very consistent thing you do. If the enemy team is in a bad position, or the enemy jungler dies, or anything like that, you want to make sure that you check the enemy's camps, especially if your camps are down, because there will be nothing else to get, and then try to like counter jungle them, take their camps away, and put their jungler further behind, whilst obviously giving yourself a lead in the process. So again, making sure he clears his camps, moving between his camps again with his Q. It's a very important thing. And right now sees the Karthus on top lane, meaning that Karthus' bot side camps are up. And in this case, he takes this and notices that they are going for Baron. Now this is one of those situations. The Sylas died on top lane. However, Rammus actually is extremely tanky right now. especially into a team that does mostly magic damage and having the Abyssal Mask completed. And also the Ghost Strength again, I believe he's just gonna Ghost in. I'm guessing he's gonna Ghost in. He Ghosts in. Look at the movement speed this guy gets to. Like over 1,000 right now. He can just run in, taunt somebody, maybe like he just run past quickly and get the Kaisa or get the Karthus or something. He got to over 1,000 movement speed. You connect, you press ultimate, you press taunt, press your W as well to be very tanky. Look at the amount of tank stats he has right now with his W up. He has over like 570-ish armor and 664 magic resist. That is a massive amount. This is very hard for the enemy team to get through. And this is why like engaging like this and then also just like instantly pressing W makes you very, very tanky, and why Rammus is just a good frontliner in general. So off that, with the Ghost, he was able to very, very quickly get to like an important situation like the Baron, and he just like completely destroy the enemy team really with just tanking them, and then also doing a lot of damage with his ultimate and his reflect damage in general. And now here that he can really just finish off the Baron, finish off what the enemy team started. Should be very possible. He was actually that is, I don't know about that one. He may have been forced to smite here. Let's see. Let's just hide for a second, so I can see the picture a little bit better here. So he gets hit by the Syndra. He gets stunned, gets quite low. The Syndra gets CC'd by Bard here, and he smites Baron. I don't think that smite actually helped him a lot. I think he may have just used his smite to he used his smite definitely to get some HP back to potentially avoid dying to Syndra. However, he didn't need to do it right there, simply because the Syndra already was CC'd by Bard at the same time. So Syndra actually did pick up the Baron there, which is quite unfortunate, really. But doesn't necessarily matter too much. It's just a missed smite. You can't necessarily like blame your jungler a whole lot. Missing smite happens, and it is what it is. Now, Dragon's gonna spawn soon, and he is most likely just gonna like go for that. Whilst he has downtime though, he's definitely clearing some more camps, which is very important. You might think why, like the Dragon's gonna spawn very soon, and he's on top side right now, but on Rammus specifically, as you see, especially on this form of the map, he is running down really fast. Let's see if this chat's a little bit in the way, not gonna lie. Currently 826 move speed, so yeah. He's gonna get there pretty quickly. So the Dragon just spawned, and he was basically there, but the fight engaged, like there's a fight going on, so you obviously want to go for the fight instead of the other like objectives or camps. If you can help your team in the fight, that's more important. He's also extremely tanky at the moment, so yeah. This chat is quite annoying. Can I move this? Not really. Interesting. Anyway. Coming in, like, just tanking a lot of damage, trying to make engage as possible, taunting people wherever he can. Making sure, like right here, this, like, getting through this much armor and magic resist is quite unfair to the enemy, and they're also gonna get a lot of reflect damage from Thornmill as well. So he is extremely tanky, basically just chasing carries down, making it very difficult for them to do anything. And yeah, that's really, try to frontline as much as possible, try to catch people as much as possible, and that's really just the way you want to play it. I think he will actually die to the Karthus here. Another one, like, small thing again there, smiting for HP. If you have the opportunity to do so, then do so. This fight turned out quite poorly, but yeah. Looks like the enemy team is gonna pick up the Dragon now. I'll just look at this fight. Rammus is dead anyway. Let's go to Silas, I guess. Alright, well, he goes in, which probably wasn't the smartest play there. Just give the Dragon and walk away would have been a little better, but yeah. Nope. I know, again, his camps are up. His Silas is dead, also Blanc is dead, so at this stage you just want to rotate through your camps. Make sure that you get the experience and everything whilst there is nothing else to do on the map anyway. Now all he is looking for right now is just an any potential engage, anyone that's a little bit out of position. If someone walks up a little too far, he can Q, press ghost, and instantly just run him down. Those are all good situations for him to be in. LeBlanc is top, Silas is bot lane, so they're kind of 1-3-1ing this at the moment. So if at any point here the Kai'Sa gets caught out of position, which I think this might be a situation where he goes for it, even though it's quite dark, he doesn't know where Karthus is. But any situation, any type of pick that you can do with your Q, making sure that you keep using it as well, because it's a fairly low cooldown at the moment. It's 5.4 seconds. So using it as much as possible to try it for any type of pick is very important. Does he have an item? He might have an item. Yeah, picks up the Adaptive, which is very good into this team as well, with Karthus, Syndra and everything. Kai'Sa as well, so... Basically at this point, I think he's unkillable, honestly. If he goes in, presses W, I don't think the enemy team can do anything against him, really. Yeah. Waiting for any opportunity, any moment to go in here, really. He sees the opportunity, presses Ghost, and then instantly taunts to Karthus. Karthus gets Mikael's by Lulu. If that Mikael's didn't happen, this Karthus would have pretty much instantly died, because Karthus doesn't build QSS himself or anything like that. So catching out the Karthus with a taunt like that usually results in a kill. It might still result in a kill, but Lulu Mikael's him, and yeah. Killing Karthus first, between, like, this is one of those positions where the Sylas goes up front, Bart ults, so Sylas is going to be safe for a while. The Karthus is very far out of position, and then also the Jhin is back here. So what you want to do is kill the one that's here first, and then also peel at the same time for your carry. You're playing a tank, so if you can like let your carry survive, that's ideally the situation you'll be looking for in a lot of team fights. Killed Karthus, so he is looking to take camps from the Karthus again, taking his Raptor camp instantly right there, and then his team is backing. The enemy team spots this, and right again, one of those tricks where he charges up his Q first to get a movement speed from that, and then instantly pops Ghost, again hitting over 1000 movement speed here, and then quickly go in to catch somebody. He currently has, as you can see, 780 armor, and 519 magic resist, so anyone that tries to hit him right now will literally do no damage. So he can just stand here and tank damage very easily. Thanks Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa will do a lot of damage to herself by just hitting the Rammus, which is very good as well. But I believe right now Rammus is just out of position. Yeah, his team had no way of backing him up anymore, and then the engage kind of flopped. Now, chasing a Rammus, however, is still not something you'd want to do, and you can easily get away by just spamming your Q. If you have enough cooldown reduction, which he does have a decent amount, I think, 20%, that's decent, you can just keep spamming Q to run away. So he does live there, actually, which is pretty surprising. Actually, not that surprising with 700 armor and 600 MR or whatever it was. Ooh, gets a nice catch here. I'm not sure if he intended for this or saw somebody. Let's see. So again, moving around with Q as much as possible, one of the important things. He spots Lulu, okay, instantly runs into Lulu, taunts Lulu, and if like the Lulu is not like Lulu should basically instantly die of that. If Jhin walked up for like the auto attack there instead of like using his W, Lulu probably would have died before even being able to ult, but. Still getting a very nice catch on the Karthus and the Lulu right there, and forcing them back, which should maybe allow for a Baron. Actually, no, Silas died to something, so Dragon's just gonna be the next objective then. Did Lulu survive that entire thing? Jesus, okay. Karthus is dead though, so he should just have the advantage of going in. Yeah, making the engage happen for his team. Something you can definitely look for. This chat's kind of annoying me a little bit, not gonna lie. Using the Smite there to get rid of Syndra's Banshees to potentially get the engage on her. Lulu polymorphs Rammus, which is a slight issue because he will take a lot of additional free damage without his W being up. So that's a bit annoying there. He gets out, instantly pops W, and then also right here, as you can see, the armor magic resists go up because of Aftershock as well. And currently he is quite low on HP, but still with this amount of resistances, there is no way they're going to do enough damage to kill him. And off of this, he soaked a lot of damage from the enemy team whilst also being able to engage. This fight does turn out quite badly eventually because Jin did die. But yeah. Still, the way you want to play the fights as Rammus is just try to soak as much damage as possible as he just did. And then, yeah, that's basically that. Again, waiting downtime. If your teammates are dead this late in the game, anyone who's dead, there's no point in looking for picks or looking for fights. You want to just make sure that you clear camps as fast as you can. Actually, in this case, the Bard gets a very, very nice catch on the Karthus there with an ult and a stun, killing him instantly. And this should allow this, like Rammus' team to get the Baron here, I would assume. Karthus ult still doing quite a significant amount of damage there, though. For sure. Alright. Alright, the enemy starts Baron, which is a very ballsy play from them, since, well, their jungler is dead, so I don't think this is a very good play for them. Again, Ghost there being very, very key in just guiding around using their movement speed, zoning them off Baron, getting a good position, dodging damage and everything. Just a very, very good summoner in general. Looking for a potential engage. Any type of engage you could get would be very beneficial to their team right now. If they can just kill somebody, they can kill Baron quite easily after. Get some more back off. Does he have an item or is just... Oh, he gets the Spectre Scowl, another one. Alright. That's a good engage from Bard. That's one of those plays you could just wait for. The moment Kaisa gets out of the Bard ultimate, he gets taunted by Rammus going forward, and now it's just another chase potential with Rammus Q and everything. They should be able to clean this up. Again, positioning himself as far forward for his team as possible to soak as much damage as possible, and that's just like how you want to play tanks at this stage in the game. He can soak a lot of damage with all those resistances he has. Actually going for Baron right now. This is one of those things as well. Rammus actually does quite a decent amount of reflect damage to Baron, and also his ultimate does a good amount of damage to Baron. So yeah, it's pretty, like, it is not something you should dismiss. Because as you can see right here, just go back a little bit. Alright, Rammus. One, he can tank it very easily, and two, you see this, like, LeBlanc does a lot of burst damage, but the consistent burn that he has with his like W damage, ult damage, and also his Cinderhawk burn, his consistent damage is quite high on Baron. Like, this is definitely not something to dismiss. So yeah. Malphite goes in, trying to steal the Baron, which probably wouldn't have been a play he should have made. But yeah. Completing his last item for the 6-item build now. And this is just back to the same old thing. It's just looking for a catch right here. He didn't go for the Lulu right there. That's surprising. Maybe he thought he got the taunt in that situation. He could have just like Q'd or like smited the Lulu, gotten the taunt off, and the Lulu would have been caught out. I think he may have thought he was in range for taunt there, but didn't happen. We could go back here and see. Let's see. So walking here, pops Sweeper, so he knows there's no one here. Right at this moment in time, I'm pretty sure he could have just smited her and then walked up with E. Yeah. Right. Happens. They're gonna play for the dragon here soon. That's maybe why he didn't want to smite her, because of the dragon, but yeah, his smite would have probably just been up in time either way, so. And one other key thing here is, if you're going for objectives, any objectives in general, try to push the waves out. Bot lane was already pushing, mid lane was still kinda here, so Rammus quickly ran into it with his Q to like use the Cinderhawk proc as well as his Q damage to quickly one-shot the wave. So having that wave pushing out is gonna be beneficial as well. Jin smites the dragon with a 1400 damage crit shot, which is pretty nice. not a whole lot he can do. And then here coming in again with the power of Ghost to catch somebody out of position. Well, I wouldn't say she's very far out of position, but this is just like out of position for Rammus Q Ghost combination. So the moment this Kaisa splits from the Malphite here, and we pretty much know that the rest of the team is around here somewhere, he uses his move speed. Also inside the dragon area, just look at, like, keep an eye on the move speed right here. This is just what makes catching people very easy. Going up to 1463 movement speed right there. Just running into Kaisa with that allows him to just make the engage. Also a lot of the, like, having those armor magic resist right here allows him to just stand in the enemy team and then just soak as much damage as possible. This is the positioning you want to have on Rammus. Standing as far forward as possible, forcing the enemy back, allowing your team to deal free damage to people that are behind you. And yeah, again here, going in with Q from the other side, looking for a catch, taunting, tanking as much damage as possible, allowing your team to make the plays. And that's really just how you want to position, how you want to play with Rammus in team fights and everything. So I think this is the end of the game. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please do make sure to hit the thumbs up button below. This does help me out quite a bit. Also, if you have any questions at all, make sure to put those in the comments below as well. I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. And yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!